Got 20 seconds. Come on, Amanda, go.
Keep moving. Good. Get those knees up. Explode. Good. Explode. Let's go. Up.
Rock forward. Let's go. One more. Go.
You are listening to the Fight Strength Podcast with your hosts, Phil Daru and Jason Burgos.
What is going on, fighting and fitness fans? It is FSP Overtime 11, the spin-off show of the Fight Strength Podcast, just talking the news of the day in the world of MMA. I am, of course, Jason Burgos, contributor for SureDog and MMAsucker.com. And, of course, I am with the Viking Overlord, that tattooed, bearded Magellan of strength and training, strength and conditioning. He does everything when it comes to strength. This is the guy you need to hear from. And that is Phil Drew. Phil, what is going on tonight?
Oh, he almost got caught up there.
I know,
usually on point. What happened?
Tough. This is unscripted, so I mean, this is like MTV Unplugged style. So that's how we do FSP.
You over here freestyling.
Exactly, that's how you gotta do it. Mm-hmm. So how are you? Are you ready to talk some MMA news of the day?
I'm always ready. I'm always ready when I'm talking to you, Jason. Don't you know that by now?
Well, I mean, since you're ready, let's just jump right into it. Tisha Torres, Joanna and Jacek, thoughts?
You motherfucker.
I mean, how difficult is that? You know, do you feel when you're a person? Because now, if you haven't listened to the show before, I mean, Joanna and Jacek and Tisha Torres have both been on the show. Phil knows Tisha from like high school. They go back way back. Him and Joanna, he trains. He's her current. You know, he doesn't work with Tisha. She's on in Colorado with the wifey there. They train out there. You know, he trains with Joanna. Close friends now. I mean, how do you handle something like this when you got two close friends that fight each other in pivotal fights? I mean, both of them, if they win, they probably are very deserving of a title shot. Do you not want to text anybody? Do you not want to say good luck because you know it hurts your friend? How do you deal with something like this?
I mean, it is what it is. It's the fight game, you know. At the end of the day, it's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, you know, being a part of the whole situation, just because they're both tremendous people. They're both tremendous fighters, obviously. You know, Joanna, obviously, I'm her coach, so she's going to be coming down to American Top Team. She's still with American Top Team, so I'm riding with her. At the same time, you know, it's not like I haven't reached out to Tisha and, you know, told her, you know, I still love her and all that's still good. But, you know, at the same time, she understands my position as a coach. So, and she's out in Colorado doing her thing, and I have Joanna, I'm doing my thing, and she's at American Top Team working with all of our great coaches that we have, you know. So at the end of the day, like I said, it's a business. You got, you know, just this weekend we have Amanda fighting Raquel, you know, and Amanda, Nina, Raquel, and Tisha are all good friends. Yeah. They met each other through this fight game. So it's not a big deal. After the fight, they're going to shake hands or hug, whatever the case may be, and they'll probably go out and have a couple beers. It's just, you know, that's just the way it goes. I've had numerous amount of guys that I fought that I ended up being close friends with still to this day. You know, we're not, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's not like I don't want to say I hate to say it, but we're not barbarians, you know. It's not like we're in the old ages where like this could be life or death situation. Like, it's a sport. You know, obviously we're fighting, and it is a fight, but at the end of the day, we're still professional athletes, but they're still professional athletes, and they're trying to accomplish a goal. It's not to beat or hurt somebody, it's to win the fight. It's nothing that crucial to where you have to be like, oh, well, fuck her, I'm not going to ride with her, or whatever the case may be. It's just, like I said, it's a professional sport, and you got to be a professional and go along with it. That's it.
Well, I have a quick question then. Okay, hypothetical situation. Joanna's like, Phil, I need you to be in my corner for this fight. You bring me luck. Do you? Hold on. And then play that impression for Joanna later, please do.
I'm probably gonna have to, because you sound like Count Chocula or some
Phil,
shit.
you're a great strength coach. You're the best in the world. But if she wants you in the corner, Phil, please be in my corner. Are you in the corner, or do you have to say no? Tisha's my friend. No. I just can't. I don't want to be on the other side of the cage looking at Tisha for a person that's gonna beat her ass. Do you have to forego that?
No. I mean, if she asked me to be in her corner, I'm gonna be in her corner.
Really? Would Tisha be offended by that?
I hope not, but it is what it is. You know?
I like that this whole Max Holloway, even though it ain't new, like it is what it is. He's really taken it to the next level, and it really is just the perfect phrase for any kind of moment.
For sure,
It's
man.
like the new forget about it. But I mean, moving on from that, I don't want to put too much pressure and get you in trouble with that. Now King Mo faces Bader in the final first round matchup of over at the Bellator Grand Prix, which you're going to be there with him, right?
I'm actually not gonna be there. I've been traveling to. I've traveled to California back and forth 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah.
And I'm a little. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm a little over California right now.
I'm sure the jet
kinda
lag's
done.
gotta suck ass. I mean, plus you went to Vancouver not that long ago. I mean, that back and forth just sucks. But I mean, so you won't be there with him. But I mean, overall thoughts to be fighting Ryan Bader. Thoughts on his chances in this fight. I mean, I think I know what the answer's gonna be, but still, say what you gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Mo is a veteran. I don't have to coddle Mo. I don't have to, I don't have to take care of Mo. Nothing like that. At the end of the day, he's gonna go out there and he's gonna fight. He's gonna put on a show. He's gonna perform. He's gonna be tactically sound and know what he needs to do to end the fight, or at least dominate. And we've done all the proper precautions. We've done everything we needed to do. We've studied Bader. And now, all there is to do is just beat him. At the end of the day, at that night when the lights are on, he has to perform. And you know what? He's proven time and time again that he can do that. And he's been in this game, like I said, a long time. So it's nothing new to him. And I know he'll come out with a W.
No, he actually mentioned it on the MMA Hour when he talked a little about his surgery and the work he got done. Do you think because of that, it's extended his career? He's gonna continue to do this win or lose a long time, or do you think there's any chance this could be his last fight if he were to lose?
I mean, it's up to him. I never know. Sometimes with Mo, he's told with Mo, he has visions and goals that he wants to accomplish outside of fighting, that we've talked about, numerous times, and I'm looking forward to it. At the same time, Mo has talked about inventing, a heart rate monitor in somebody's compression shorts, and shit like that. Like sometimes I take it with a grain of salt, but he's beyond what you may see in the media and on Instagram and all that shit. This guy is truly the nicest guy in the world, man, and I wish him nothing but the best. And I think that if he decides to leave the fight game after this fight, he'll be fine. And if he wants to fight a couple more times, he's physically capable of doing so.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. I mean, this is an interesting fight to me. I mean, from the moment the fight was announced, I thought this was one of the more interesting ones and more evenly matched ones. From the beginning, I also felt Bader was probably my favorite, but if Mo can beat Bader, I think that makes Mo the automatic favorite, because Bader's just on such a roll right now. He's in his like that space where he's gotten his experience level to a high enough level, and his athleticism and physicality is still good enough. He hasn't tipped over in terms of his aging, but I mean, it's a fascinating fight on the feet. If Bader can't get Mo down, it's becomes Mo's fight to lose. So it's very interesting. Either man, whoever it is, what are your thoughts? And this fascinates me because on the other side, you're going to have Fedor and Chael, which is a weird matchup, more of a middleweight versus a heavyweight, but at least Fedor is on the lower level of that, so it's get closer. The winner's going to fight Matt Mitrione. Matt Mitrione's a big boy. I mean, this is a guy who's, closing in and close to 260. What are your thoughts on either of those guys fighting Mitrione, especially Mo, who, he's dabbled in heavyweight a little bit, but he's not a big guy, so...
No. I mean, Mitrione is a beast. I'm not gonna lie. He's truly athletic. He's played in NFL. He's a bigger guy. Like I said, he's a true heavyweight. As far as Chael, I mean, Chael could possibly get him. I just don't think he has the abilities right now or at his stage in life, because he is an older gentleman, and it's gonna be hard for him to take a Matt Mitrione down with the size, with the athleticism.
Well, I mean, Bader or King Mo, because that's who they will fight Matt Mitrione the next round if they want. What about them versus Matt Mitrione?
I mean, Mo, we have if it's Mo, we have all the recipe to destroy him. But for the unlikelihood of Bader fighting him, then I think that Mitrione would smash him too. And I'm not saying that, man, because Bader's a good guy. We're sponsored by the same company, 8 Man Strong. So I'm not downing him or doubting him at all, but Matt Mitrione is just it's like a different level of athleticism, at a different level of his fight game. He has a very high fight IQ. And Matt Mitrione has a little bit more tools in the toolbox to negate anything that Bader has to offer. As far as Mo goes, we just got to be have good tactical awareness, understand what we need to do, and have a good game plan, and then obviously, beat them to every punch possible, and utilize our boxing, utilize takedowns off the cage, suck them down, and then just kind of weigh them out. Because no matter, even though, Mo's not the heaviest guy in the world, he's deceptively strong. You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand how strong this guy is. And on top of the fact that with all the ligament damage that he occurred, now that we have new mobilization, just new overall abilities in his joint articular rotation and his just overall mobility, that it's just now we are getting to be able to do the things we were supposed to be doing, a couple of years back when he was fighting Rampage, when he was fighting, those other guys, that he really couldn't showcase his abilities like he did back in Strikeforce.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, what's interesting about Matt Mitrione, I was actually at the fight with Roy Nelson at press row watching it, and he was in the best shape I've ever seen him in. His movement for a man of that size was really impressive. The footwork, his use of his jab was really good stuff. But I tell you, I think if Bader or Mo fought him, I think while he could, hurt them, knock them out, he's got size, I think they could both beat him, because in the end, two things. He always has a wrestling weakness, and he almost lost that fight because Roy Nelson took him down and just held him there and pretty much got like a 10-8 round almost. Mm-hmm. And I think both those guys get taken down. Also, because of that football background, he has a chin that can be had, and both Mo and Bader can lay a big shot on somebody. And he's yes, granted, he's got hurt by heavyweights, but I think maybe all the hits and everything, the damage, once you get enough concussions, it just gets easier and easier to get him. And I think I'm fascinated by the fight because it's a smaller guy versus a bigger guy, but either man could win. Moving on from there, MacKenzie Dern, the question I want to pose to you is, MacKenzie Dern, this highly touted, highly looked at prospect in the sport, BJJ superstar, now in the UFC. She was an Invicta. Is she really dedicated to MMA now? She revealed a week or so ago that MMA lab coach John Crouch invited her to go to another gym. His response was that she had difficulty going back and forth from California to the lab, which is based in Arizona, and he felt maybe it just wasn't working out for her. Maybe she should go train more in California. He didn't want to say too much bad about that. Other than that, I mean, MMA lab's a good gym. John Crouch is a well-known coach, and Benson Henderson, John Moraga, Alex Caceres all trained there. Now, Dern said this comment. I want to know what you think of it. She said in an interview, "I'm not just training. I'm not the person that the next day I'm back in the academy," Dern said. "I like to be able to be on the beach and relax and miss to be on the mat and want to be on the mat. I don't like to feel the pressure to be on the mat." Now, this can be mainly based on a grappling, but I feel like this is a general thing. Doesn't this feel like a person, like, don't you need to be, like, dedicated to the sport, like, 24/7 when you're in training? And doesn't this feel like a person's not, especially off of her debut in the UFC, which was a person that maybe isn't fully dedicated to this thing?
That's hard to say, man, because you don't know what she's thinking. You don't know how she goes about training. Some people are all in. Some people, live and die by this shit, and they only think about training. But at the end of the day, a lot of those people, they get burnt out. With her approach, as I feel that it's more taking to like a veteran approach, and she's not really a veteran in this game, where she should be trying to learn as much as she possibly can. Even though she's a high-level BJJ practitioner, there's a lot more aspects in this game of MMA. So you should take an approach in the beginning, at least in the beginning of your UFC career, to understand that you need to be learning as much as you possibly can. And then once you get to a level to where you know that you can take maybe a couple days off to recover, replenish the mind, and feel like you need to get back into the gym. But you shouldn't have to take time off like that to feel like you have to get back in, like to feel like you need to get back in the gym. You should already be wanting to get back in the gym. Now, if it's a physiological or a physical aspect, if you're just overtrained, then yeah, take a couple days off. That's gonna probably do you more good than anything. But if it's a psychological aspect, I think you need to adopt another mindset when it comes to, competing and performing and training. So.
And that's the thing, at this higher level, I mean, I can understand being a competitor, it's an opportunity to make good money, more money that you could probably make in jiu-jitsu tournaments, and, a sportsman, and, you enjoy it, but it's not your life. And then the person that wants to be champion, they grind to be champion, they eat, sleep, want to be champion, and that is, maybe you agree, maybe you train with high-level athletes, you're training them yourself, that can be the difference maker in really getting hurt out there. And to have that desire to really push and be the best you can be, or if you're kind of just like it, enjoy it, but you're not taking it as serious you can get hurt out there. This isn't basketball. This isn't baseball. Someone will take your head off, and I just feel that's, especially the higher you go, and now she's at the highest level, I just feel it's a dangerous mindset to have another way. But I mean, we'll see. Maybe she'll prove us wrong. She fights Amanda Bobby Cooper. Maybe she subs her in a minute, and we're all like, oh, I guess she's as good as we think. But I mean, moving on from that, big news this week: UFC comes to an agreement with Disney-owned ESPN to stream 15 live events exclusively on the ESPN Plus app starting in January of 2019. Some of the details include exclusive all-new seasons of Dana White's Contender Series beginning in June of that year, next year, a new original all-access series produced by AMG Original Content, exclusive pre- and post-event shows for all those events that are going to be on ESPN Plus, non-exclusive access to the archive of the UFC, the programming, old events, all that kind of stuff, additional UFC branded content, including UFC countdown shows, press conferences, weigh-ins, and pre-post shows. And the app, at least for now, is only $4.99. I sense once the UFC gets on, it's going to be more expensive than that, but still not a bad deal to get UFC events and all the other content ESPN Plus offers. Deal is reportedly going to make the UFC $150 million a year. This pretty much makes me think UFC Fight Pass is slowly dying. It will be dead by next year because there's really no point to have if they're going to make $150 million on this and going to be ESPN. But what do you think? I mean, as a part of a person close to the sport, that it's cool to be on Fox Sports, but it seems like UFC on ESPN really is taking it to that next level.
Yeah, man. Growing up, I've always watched SportsCenter, always watched ESPN. Playing football, I always envisioned my highlights being on ESPN. Obviously, that did not happen. But it's gonna be cool, man. I like it. It's a major network. It's a major sporting network that everybody watches. So hopefully we gain new fans, and hopefully they're not obnoxious and tell you to fucking throw an elbow every 10 seconds.
Oh my God.
And but yeah, I mean, it's opening up the sport to a new audience, I would say, at least, from the guys and girls and whoever watching, football or soccer or whatever the case may be, or I should say football.
Foot.
Football. I love my Europeans. You know that.
I mean, you are big in Sweden, even in the UK, very big numbers for the Fight String podcast. So, big fan. Mm-hmm. I mean, well, what's funny, it just shows you how different society changed. I'm 34, getting older, and you could probably understand this too. Like, it's crazy how things like major content, like a UFC event, which will probably have some names on it, not maybe big names, but some names on it, it's being set up to be watched on your phone or your tablet or your computer. Like, we grew up in times where it was on TV. You watch the big pay-per-view on your TV, you get the big ass TV and get a bunch of people, you put together money and get a pay-per-view. And like, it's crazy to see like how different things are changing, and it's going to apps, but it's just the continued evolution of things. And also, I mean, as a person that's big into Marvel and Star Wars, goddamn, Disney is taking over the planet. They own Marvel, they own Lucasfilm, Disney, Star Wars. Now they're gonna slowly be working with UFC. I mean, insanity. But I mean, this is another good topic for you, since you work with this guy. I mean, this is crazy. How bad of a decision was it for the UFC to not re-sign Kyoji Horiguchi? This dude is on a 3-fight win streak before he switched over to Ryzen. He was 7-1 in the UFC. His lone loss was a 5th-round submission to the champion. I mean, who hasn't lost to him? Dude's currently on a 9-fight win streak, 6-0 and rising, come off a 9-second TKO win over Ian McCall last weekend. I mean, you train him. You know how amazing of an athlete he is. What the hell is UFC doing with that? Like, how do you not bring that guy back? How do you undervalue a talent like that?
Because they don't want lightweight guys anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they're just not signing them. They're not doing anything with them. The same thing with Bellator. They're not doing much with the 135 or 125 division. You know, I got a guy right now. You know, he's fucking a two-weight class champion in another organization, and they don't want to sign him. So I mean, they're just not looking for the smaller guys right now. And to be honest, they weren't trying to give him as much money as Ryzen. So, you know, now he's in Japan. He's in pretty much his home country, and you know, wrecking shop, which is primarily what he wants to do. He's making money. He's a young kid still, but he's fucking phenomenal, man. Like, this kid, like, bar none, one of the most explosive athletes I've ever coached, and I've coached a lot of them, you know. But yeah, it's a little crazy, but at the end of the day, it has to make sense for ratings, and Japan is just all about, you know, explosive, fun fights. Mm-hmm. And they just hit the lotto with Kyoji, man. Just having him be the hometown guy. He's gonna do a kickboxing match coming up now.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be good, and it's no surprise to me that he's getting these knockouts, because I see it every day in training, and it was just a matter of time for him to really showcase his skills, and he did it in the UFC. It's just like, but nobody was really paying attention. Yeah. So at least he's getting love over there in Japan. He's getting love, you know, in other countries, and he's showing what he's capable of doing.
It's crazy to me, and it's been a thing in combat sports for forever. It's been a thing in boxing forever, how just the mainstream public just does not care about small fighters. Like, I get it. You like to see these huge men. Heavyweights are always the most popular, even UFC, you know, fighting each other, beating each other up. But, like, I would think smaller people, you would relate to them more because they are your size. More people are, you know, the sizes of lightweights and featherweights than they are the sizes of heavyweights and 205ers. So it's so weird. Like, you know, I guess it's the cool thing as a diehard or a person that's a part of the sport, you could appreciate that. But the fact that a Kyoji Horiguchi is undervalued and has to go to Ryzen, a fact that a Demetrius Johnson doesn't get big ratings or pay-per-view buys, and even though he's arguably the best ever, so strange, so weird to me. I don't get it. Phil, how much more time do we have you for? I don't want to take it too long. We can cut some of these topics out.
No, we're good to go. Let's do it.
All right. Now, the next one is the UFC. Oh, my God. I don't get this. Is working on GSP versus Nate Diaz at 155 for UFC 227. I mean, should we care? And doesn't this just feel like this is just a setup so GSP can get a title shot at 155, probably in their hopes against Conor McGregor? He fights Nate. He beats Nate. Everybody said, oh, look, he beat Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is one of the best 55ers in the world. He deserves a title shot. Now he's George St. Pierre. He's the greatest of all time. Like, doesn't this just feel like that? It just feels like nonsense.
Well, I think the wrong division to go for anywhere is 155 in the UFC. Yep. You know, that's one division you don't want to step foot in, but I think he's just trying to make sure that he's getting money fights, and he's doing what he loves to do, obviously now. But a fight with Nate Diaz, in my mind, doesn't make any sense just from the ratings perspective or from the rankings perspective. The ratings may go up for sure, but Nate doesn't have the physical tools to withstand what GSP could do to him. He's a bigger guy, obviously. He's going to be a bigger guy. He was a big guy at 185. Now he's going to be a fucking even humongous guy, a monster at 155. And Nate doesn't do really well with a lot of wrestlers, and GSP has the best wrestling in MMA. It's still even though he's a little older, you know, he sets it up very well. He does have great boxing, and he has a long jab, so it's gonna negate a lot of that pity patter type movement that Nate does. And even if he fought Nick Diaz, it'd be the same outcome. I think it would be the same, maybe even worse, you know, because I think Nate does have a little bit more of speed on his punches in a sense. Yeah. But it's just because he's lighter. But you know, at the same time, it's still the same game. It's still the same still the same tactics, and it's not gonna end well. I mean, it's either gonna be a decision or you know, somebody's getting subbed.
Yeah.
Or he may get knocked out. But Nate has a chin, so I don't really think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I could just be seeing it being a decision. I mean, I'll never. I know Nate's probably a better fighter. I hope. Well, maybe his wrestling is not since in the years. But I'll never forget he got like ragdolled in wrestling by like a 24-year-old Rory McDonald. I mean, come on, man. Like George St. Pierre took down Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping is not hard to take down. I mean, not easy to take down. Like he gave
he's a big guy.
Yeah, he gave Chael Sonnen a ton of trouble. He's not easy to take down. So to him to come up and wait and take him down, do stuff is extreme impressive. So to go down, yeah, there's worries. Maybe he's sapping his body. That'll be a problem. But he's a smart fighter. He'll prepare months in advance before he's even doing it. He's not going to go into the gym like week 1 of training at 180 pounds. He's not going to do that. So just I don't get it. It's just one of those, let's appeal to the mainstream again and just do these silly fights. But whatever. Now, all right, talk about more silliness. Now, Joe Rogan and your boy Colby Covington have had weird threats, and Colby talking about smacking people, smacking Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan recently responded to it on his podcast. He says his comment was, "Colby Covington, don't slap me," which I think is a smart start. I know you said you're going to slap me. Don't slap me. I'm just talking shit. The reason why Colby is going to fight Rafael Dos Anjos for the interim title is not just because he's beating good guys. He's beating Demian Maia. It's more because he's putting asses on the seats. It's part of the business now. Post Conor McGregor, the game has changed. Rogan stated he lost to Warley Alves. Look at the guys he has beaten. Brian Barberena is a tough guy. Young Hung Kim is a tough guy, and Demian Maia. I mean, I'm going to be honest. This is not a resume of someone who you would normally see fighting for the title right now. He's controversial, very popular character because he talks so much shit, and because he's talked so much shit about Brazilians. Maia was a big victory, but it was his only big victory. A top-level guy who was almost 40 years old. His best days are behind him, and I say this as a huge Demian Maia fan. I mean, overall thoughts on Joe Rogan, and then overall thoughts if there's any chance Colby Covington will really try to smack Joe Rogan.
No, man, he's not gonna do that.
I mean, and his thoughts on Colby. I mean, is it as simply as he's putting asses in seats?
I mean, yeah, Kobe is talented. People don't know that, because he hasn't been able to really showcase it. But he does have one of the best wrestling skills in the gym. He needs those big fights to actually prove himself. So I think, this next fight will definitely solidify that at least a little bit. Then he has to back up what he's been saying. So. It just takes time to actually develop as a fighter, and he hasn't really developed too much yet, but he also hasn't had the opportunity to do so because he hasn't had big fights in that perspective. And I mean, what Joe was talking about with the whole thing with John Jones and him, being roommates with John Jones and this and that, that's how it all started. But and Rogan's not a chump.
No,
what I'm saying?
not at all. Not at all.
You're not just gonna slap Joe Rogan, but Kobe's being Kobe. That's all it is.
I mean, what's crazy is that after that big win for Dave Mike, he hasn't fought in so long. I mean, I don't know if that's on purpose or whatever, but it's unfortunate that he's gonna go back in there after a long layoff. Maybe it doesn't affect him. Maybe it's not an issue, but if I feel like it's almost building the pressure. I wish he would have got back in there relatively quick, like 3-4 months later. But I mean, in the end, it worked out for him. He's getting what he's want. He's getting an interim title fight. I mean, and if he wins and he's interim champion, he's gonna look like the smartest man alive. But final topic on this day's FSP Overtime 11. Thoughts on UFC 224. This is going to be airing Monday, so the Mo fight, you guys are going to hear and know the results already, so we're recording this in advance, so let us know if we got it wrong or right. But going into this fight, which is already aired at this point when you're listening, thoughts on Nunes versus Pennington. How you feeling about that fight?
Oh, man. Amanda's a beast. I think that and Raquel's tough. It's gonna be a good fight, but at the end of the day, I know Amanda will take it. Amanda's just too talented, at another level right now. She's strong in every aspect of the game. Raquel has come from humble beginnings and been through some wars and had to crawl her way back to the title. And that's commendable, and I like Raquel, she's a cool girl, and but at the same time, Amanda is American Top Team, and she's gonna take this one home for us.
You know, and to people listening, this is a compliment. I'm not trying to make Pennington look good, not look bad. You know what she kind of reminds me of? She reminds me of a more sharpened, more technical Chris Lieben. Now, Chris Lieben, I'm sure you're going to think, people out there, oh, Chris Lieben, he's a brawl. He wasn't a good. Listen, Chris Lieben was a title contender until he met Anderson Silva. I mean, he was a real good fighter, and she reminds me of him in a way because it's her toughness. She has pure will. Like, she's a good fighter, but she doesn't have, like, oh, she has great wrestling, or she has amazing Muay Thai, or she's got great jiu-jitsu. She's just good, very solid, everything, and she's tough, man. She can grind you, and she's technical in her skills, but Amanda Nunes is just another level. I mean, this is you said it perfect, a beast. I mean, this is, if Raquel Pennington beats her, that's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be a major upset, but Nunes is just a whole, Nunes, they talk about her fighting Cyborg and winning. No disrespect to Raquel Pennington, very talented, but
I'll do you one better. We'll grab Amanda and get her on the podcast after the win.
Please, Amanda, please come on. I want to talk to you. You seem very nice. Let's have it. Let's have it. Now, final thought. This is gonna be possibly also Vitor Belfort's retirement match. Do you think he gets a win on the way out against fellow Brazilian Lyoto Machida?
I mean, that's so up in the air, man. I don't even know. I can't even tell you. But I guess I can make one assumption or one guess. I think
that he's going to be on the
him.
Stuff because he's in Brazil.
You said that, I didn't. I'll make my prediction. I'll say Machida wins by knockout in the second round.
I think, yeah, that's a good one. I'm going back and forth on this one because they're both good. We all know Vitor is going to get you early, probably not going to get you all. Machida can wait up, but damn, man. At this point, both of their chins have just been through so much. Like, and both of them can hit hard, so I don't know. I'm going to go Vitor or whatever. I get that final win. But you know what? If he wins, he's probably going to say, I'm not retired. I'm going to come back. I still got it. I want to go for a title run. So I don't know if we want all that. But that is it for this week's episode. Just want to give a shout out in terms of the ebook, Weight Cut Systematic Strategies, is available on DaruStrong.com. Fantastic book by Phil Daru and Tony Ricci, giving the great insight and experience of how to weight cut and do it safely and officially. I mean, look at Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee, top-notch fighter. He couldn't even get the weight done right. He had problems. Kevin Lee needs the ebook. He needs weight cut systematic strategies. So he would have made more money that night. But also that, as always, the show can be listened to on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Player FM, SoundCloud, YouTube. You could find us, Fight Strength Podcast, on Facebook, Fight Strength _ on Twitter. Email us any of your questions for any of the Ask Daru segments of the show or for our guests on those sites. DM Phil or contact us on Fight Strength Podcast at Gmail. Phil, give him the social on the way out.
Let's go Instagram and Twitter at Daru Strong, Facebook Phil Daru, and then also my website www.darustrong.com.
And what else? When is it? You got May 19th is going to be the seminar at your facility.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a small seminar, 20 or less, at my private facility in Stuart, Florida. If you want to sign up for that, you can go on my website. It's up there, right up there when you get to the homepage. Just click on that and you'll see that there. And then also with my programs out, I have a Fight Strong program that's out for fightcampconditioning.com. 6-month program. And like I said before, been seeing a lot of progress with a lot of people. Everybody's liking it a lot. And then coming up soon at the end of May, I'm doing a collaboration with Overtime Athletes with Chris Bernard over there, and then that's going to be a 12-week program, so be on the lookout for that once that comes out.
All right, and as always, you can find me on Instagram, Jericho Vendetta, and on Twitter at Cheap Seas Chat. That was a new edition of FSP Overtime. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, everybody, bye-bye.